Has someone you cherish started showing subtle, yet deeply concerning changes over the past year? It's a heartbreaking reality that many people assume the end of life in old age happens suddenly, like a switch being flicked off. But the truth, often whispered in the quiet corners of our hearts, is that the body frequently sends gentle, almost imperceptible warnings months, sometimes even a full year, before life reaches its final, inevitable stage. The agonizing problem is that most of us, caught up in the whirlwind of daily life, miss these delicate signals because they appear so insignificant at first glance. It's only later, when the silence becomes deafening and the memories flood back, that families realize with a gut-wrenching pang, that the clues were there all along. But by then, the cruel truth is that it's often too late to truly prepare, too late to make those precious last moments count, to etch them into the tapestry of our shared history. In this vital video, we're going to delve into 5 key signs that often emerge a year before an elderly loved one, perhaps a beloved grandparent or a treasured parent, passes away. Some of these signs might be things you've already noticed, a nagging feeling you perhaps brushed off as just the inevitable march of aging. Others might be changes that seem so minor, so easily dismissed, yet they actually signal the body's gradual, heartbreaking decline, like a slow dimming of a once bright light. Recognizing these early whispers of change provides you with the invaluable opportunity to offer better, more compassionate care. It allows you to fiercely cherish those fleeting, meaningful moments, to hold them close like precious jewels. And most importantly, it empowers you to ensure that your loved one's final stage of life is filled with the profound comfort they deserve, the unwavering dignity they've earned, and the profound peace that transcends all earthly concerns. Please, stay with us until the very end, because these 5 crucial signs can help you prepare, both emotionally, for the storm that may be gathering, and practically, for the difficult road ahead. When you truly understand what's happening, when you see the signs for what they are, you won't be caught off guard, adrift in a sea of confusion and regret. You'll be able to make the absolute most of the precious time you have left with those you hold dearest. Now, with a sense of urgency and compassion, let's get started. Number 1. Significant weight loss. One of the earliest and most telling indicators that a person may be approaching their final year of life is unintentional weight loss. At first, it might seem so subtle, a belt that suddenly needs tightening by a notch or two, clothes that appear noticeably looser, hanging like empty shells, or a once hearty appetite that inexplicably begins to fade, like a wilting flower. Many families, in their hopeful denial, dismiss it as just another part of getting older, another wrinkle in the fabric of time. But the stark truth is, losing weight without actively trying is rarely a good sign, especially in our elders. It often tragically indicates that the body is no longer absorbing vital nutrients efficiently, that precious muscle mass is decreasing, leaving them frail, and that essential bodily systems are beginning to slow down, like a clock winding down its final ticks. Aging naturally leads to some gradual loss of muscle, but when it happens too rapidly, too dramatically, it's a glaring sign that something deeper, something more profound, is occurring within. The body may be desperately struggling to digest food properly, or the person may no longer be able to process protein effectively, leading to a heartbreaking wasting away of their strength. This devastating loss of strength doesn't just make everyday movement more difficult, each step a monumental effort. It alarmingly increases the risk of falls, leaving them vulnerable and afraid. It also weakens the immune system, their shield against the world, leaving them tragically vulnerable to infections that their weakened bodies can no longer fight off effectively. Another insidious reason for weight loss in the final year of life is appetite changes. Many elderly individuals simply don't feel the familiar pangs of hunger the way they used to. Their sense of taste, once a source of joy, fades, making food no longer seem enjoyable, no longer a simple pleasure. They might start skipping meals entirely or eating drastically smaller portions, barely picking at their food like a bird. This isn't just a matter of personal preference or a sudden pickiness. It's a fundamental physiological change. The body, with an innate wisdom, sensing that it's beginning to shut down, no longer sends the same urgent signals to the brain to seek nourishment. The devastating result is less energy, leaving them constantly drained, less strength, making even simple tasks feel like climbing a mountain, and a gradual, relentless decline in their overall health and vitality. And then there's the looming role of underlying medical conditions. Weight loss is a common, often early, symptom of chronic diseases like the relentless march of cancer, the weakening grip of heart failure, or the failing function of kidney disease, all of which can begin progressing silently, insidiously, long before more obvious, outward symptoms finally appear. Even conditions like the heavy cloud of depression or the confusing fog of cognitive decline can lead to a reduced desire to eat, causing a tragic downward spiral where the body isn't receiving enough fuel to sustain itself, like a car running on empty. Some families, in their desperate attempts to help, try to solve this heartbreaking problem by encouraging their loved ones to eat more, offering favorite foods, hoping to tempt their failing appetites, or supplementing meals with protein drinks, trying to force nourishment into a body that no longer wants it. But if the weight continues to relentlessly drop despite these loving efforts, it's crucial to recognize that the issue is not simply about diet. It's about the body preparing for a deeper, more profound transition, a final letting go. At this delicate stage, forcing large meals may not help and could even cause discomfort. Instead, focusing on providing comfort, offering easy-to-eat foods that require minimal effort, and ensuring they stay adequately hydrated can make a far bigger difference in maintaining their quality of life in their remaining time. If you notice significant, undeniable weight loss in an elderly loved one, especially if they're also eating less, feeling noticeably weaker, or struggling to stay active in the ways they once did, it's time to pay close attention, with all your heart. This isn't just about a change in physical appearance. It's about the body sending a profound, undeniable message. And understanding that message now, with open eyes and a compassionate heart, can help you prepare for the difficult road ahead with clarity, with unwavering compassion, and with the profound ability to make every remaining moment truly meaningful, a cherished memory etched in time. Number 2, extreme fatigue and weakness. One of the most noticeable and heart-wrenching changes in the year leading up to the end of life is a deep, persistent fatigue that doesn't lift, doesn't fade, no matter how much they rest. It's not just a normal feeling of being a little tired after a long day. It's a profound, all-encompassing exhaustion that makes even the simplest, most routine tasks feel utterly overwhelming, like trying to move mountains. Getting out of bed, once an effortless start to the day, becomes a monumental challenge, each movement a struggle. Walking across a small room requires immense effort, leaving them breathless and drained. And activities that once felt routine and brought joy, like cooking a simple meal, getting dressed in the morning, or even holding a short conversation with a loved one, start to feel too draining, too much to bear. This isn't just a result of the natural aging process. It's a significant sign that the body is desperately conserving its remaining precious energy as organ function begins to slow down, like the embers of a dying fire. The body, in its wisdom, starts prioritizing what is absolutely most essential for survival. The heart, once a strong and reliable pump, doesn't beat as efficiently, circulation weakens, like a river slowing to a trickle, and muscles don't receive the same vital level of oxygen they once did, leaving them feeling heavy and unresponsive. This is why many elderly individuals in their final months feel profoundly weak, unsteady on their feet, and tragically unable to sustain the same level of activity they once enjoyed, their world shrinking with their energy levels. Another key factor in this overwhelming fatigue is metabolic slowdown. The body is designed to efficiently produce and use energy, the fuel that keeps us going. But as it prepares for its final, inevitable phase, that precious energy is redirected away from outward activity. Instead of fueling movement and engagement with the world, the body shifts toward internal preservation, trying to maintain vital functions with dwindling resources. This is why someone in decline may start sleeping more and more, needing longer and more frequent naps during the day, and finding it increasingly difficult to stay awake for extended periods, their eyelids heavy with an unbearable weight. Some may even experience sudden, dramatic drops in energy, where they seem relatively okay one moment, perhaps sharing a brief smile, but then become completely drained the next, their light suddenly dimming. But perhaps the most heartbreaking aspect of this profound fatigue is its emotional impact. Many seniors, who once took immense pride in their independence, in their ability to care for themselves, begin feeling frustrated, deeply saddened, or even embarrassed that they can no longer do the things they used to, the simple acts that define their self-sufficiency. They may withdraw from conversations, their voices fading into silence. They might avoid social interactions, no longer having the energy to engage. Or they might stop pursuing beloved hobbies, activities that once brought them joy and purpose, not because they no longer care, but because they simply don't possess the physical or mental energy to participate. This can tragically lead to a cycle of isolation, where they stop trying altogether, their world becoming smaller and quieter, which only accelerates their overall decline, like a plant withering without sunlight. For families watching a vibrant, active loved one slowly transform into someone perpetually exhausted and withdrawn, it can be an incredibly painful experience, a constant ache in the heart. It's easy, in our frustration, to mistakenly assume they're just being lazy or that they simply need to push through it, to try harder. But the harsh reality is that forcing activity won't help. It will likely only cause more distress and exhaustion. What truly matters most during this delicate time is understanding their profound limitations, allowing them to rest without judgment whenever they need to, and making their remaining days as comfortable and peaceful as humanly possible. If you notice a loved one experiencing deep, ongoing fatigue that is not relieved by rest, please take it as a significant sign that their body is undergoing a major, irreversible transition. This is the precious time to cherish quiet conversations, to create gentle moments of peace and connection, and to support them with unwavering love and without any expectations of what they should be able to do. Because in the end, what truly matters isn't how much they can still accomplish. It's that they feel deeply loved, completely understood, and utterly at ease in your presence. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here, that you're listening, that you care. And if you haven't already subscribed to our channel, I wholeheartedly recommend you do so right now and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos, which are designed to provide you with crucial information and heartfelt support during challenging times. Your support means the world to us and helps us continue creating good, informative content to inform and inspire you, to help you navigate these difficult journeys with a little more understanding and a lot more compassion. Now, let's move forward with the next crucial sign. Number 3, increased cognitive confusion or withdrawal. As a person approaches the final stage of their precious life, one of the most striking and often heartbreaking changes can be seen in how they think, how they communicate, and how they interact with the world and the people they love. You may tragically notice that someone who was once sharp as a tack and deeply engaged in life starts to forget things more and more often, their memory slipping away like grains of sand through their fingers. They might struggle to follow even simple conversations, their eyes glazing over with confusion. Or they might seem disoriented even in the most familiar places, their own home suddenly feeling foreign and unsettling. They may repeat the same questions over and over, their minds caught in a loop. They might forget the names of cherished loved ones, a deeply painful experience for everyone involved. Or they might lose all track of time, days and nights blurring together in a confusing haze, even if they never had any memory issues before this heartbreaking decline. These subtle, yet significant cognitive changes can sadly happen months, or even a full year, before their passing. This isn't just everyday forgetfulness, a misplaced set of keys or a forgotten appointment. The brain, just like any other vital organ in the body, requires a steady, uninterrupted flow of oxygen and essential nutrients to function properly. But its circulation weakens, like a river drying up, and the vital oxygen supply to the brain tragically decreases, cognitive function inevitably starts to decline, like a computer slowing down to a crawl. The person may become easily confused by even simple instructions, their decision-making abilities fading. They might struggle to recognize the faces of people they've known and loved for years, a truly devastating experience for families. Or they might become lost and disoriented even in places they've known their entire lives, their sense of place and familiarity tragically eroding. In some heartbreaking cases, they may experience brief, fleeting moments of lucidity, where their mind seems clear and they recognize you, followed by sudden, disorienting episodes of confusion, almost as if their precious mind is fading in and out, like a flickering candle. Another common and deeply sad sign is emotional withdrawal. Someone nearing the end of their life often loses interest in social interactions, the very connections that once brought them joy and comfort. You might notice them speaking less and less, their voice becoming a mere whisper. They might engage less in conversations, their eyes distant and unfocused. Or they might spend long, quiet periods simply sitting in silence, lost in their own thoughts, their connection to the outside world fading. It's absolutely crucial to understand that this isn't because they no longer care about their loved ones. It's that their brain no longer processes emotions and the desire for engagement in the same way it once did. Conversations can become incredibly tiring, even overwhelming, requiring more energy than they possess. Loud or busy environments can feel chaotic and distressing, further isolating them. And eventually, tragically, many seniors retreat into their own inner world, a place where they feel safe and perhaps less overwhelmed by the declining world around them. You may also heartbreakingly notice significant changes in their mood and behavior. Some individuals may become more irritable, easily agitated by things that never bothered them before. Others might become increasingly anxious or easily frustrated, their emotions raw and exposed. Still others may seem unusually calm, detached, or even indifferent to things that once mattered deeply to them, passions and interests fading into the background. This isn't simply a personality shift. It's often a direct result of the brain adjusting to the body's overall decline. As cognitive function slows down, emotions become harder to process and express, and the person may sadly stop reacting to situations in the way they used to, their emotional landscape shifting and becoming unfamiliar. For family members, this stage can be especially difficult and emotionally draining. Watching a loved one slowly lose touch with reality or pull away emotionally can feel like losing them bit by bit, even before they're physically gone, a profound and heartbreaking grief. But it's absolutely vital to remember that this isn't something they can consciously control. Their brain is undergoing profound changes. Instead of desperately trying to bring them back into conversations or force engagement, the most loving and supportive thing you can do is to gently meet them where they are, in their current reality. Speak softly and gently, offering constant reassurance and a comforting presence. Understand that even if they don't always verbally respond or seem to recognize you, they can still deeply feel your loving presence, the warmth of your touch, and the unwavering comfort of your care. If a loved one is becoming increasingly forgetful, more confused, or less engaged with the world around them, please, do not ignore these significant changes. These are often early and crucial signs that their precious body and mind are preparing for the final, inevitable transition. This is a sacred time to be patient, to cherish the quiet moments of connection, and to focus on creating an environment that feels safe, familiar, and peaceful, a haven in their final journey. Because even when words begin to fade and memories become hazy, the profound power of love and the gentle comfort of your presence can still be deeply felt, a silent language of the heart. Let's now move on to the fourth crucial sign. Number 4. Frequent infections and slow healing. As the body begins to slowly wind down, like a clock gradually running out of power, one of the clearest physical signs is a noticeable and concerning weakening of the immune system, their natural defense against illness. You might sadly notice that someone who rarely got sick before now seems to catch every cold, every flu, every minor infection that happens to be going around, their body no longer able to effectively fight off these common ailments. What used to be minor illnesses that they would quickly bounce back from now take much longer to recover from, dragging on, leaving them weak and vulnerable. And even simple wounds, like a small cut or a minor bruise, heal at a noticeably slower rate, the body's natural repair mechanisms faltering. These changes aren't random occurrences. They are significant signs that the body is no longer able to effectively defend and repair itself in the efficient way it once did, its resilience tragically diminished. One of the biggest concerns during this time is the increased frequency of repeated infections. Pneumonia, a serious lung infection, urinary tract infections (UTIs), painful and debilitating, skin infections that can become severe, and even oral infections, causing discomfort and difficulty eating, become alarmingly more common as the immune system weakens, their defenses crumbling. Many families, in their hope for a recovery, might initially assume these are just isolated illnesses, unfortunate but temporary setbacks. But when these infections start happening frequently, one after another, or when they take an unusually long time to clear up, despite medical intervention, it's often a significant sign that the body is sadly losing its fundamental ability to fight back, its internal army weakened. Even antibiotics, which once worked quickly and effectively to combat infections, may now seem less potent, less able to do their job. The person may require stronger medications, longer recovery periods, or even multiple rounds of treatment for infections that would have been considered minor inconveniences in the past, highlighting the body's declining ability to respond to medical help. This tragically happens because as circulation slows down, like a river becoming sluggish, and vital organ function declines, the body simply doesn't respond to medical treatments as effectively as it once did, its ability to heal compromised. Another often overlooked issue is the development of chronic wounds. If you heartbreakingly notice that small scratches, minor sores, or even simple bruises aren't healing properly or keep stubbornly reopening, it could be a sign that circulation is significantly compromised, that blood flow is inadequate. Poor blood flow means that essential oxygen and vital nutrients aren't efficiently reaching the skin and tissues, the very building blocks of healing, making the process much slower and more difficult than usual. Pressure sores, also known as bed sores, especially for those who are less mobile and spend more time sitting or lying down, become a serious and dangerous risk and can tragically lead to severe and even life-threatening infections if not carefully and diligently managed. What's even more concerning is that infections in the final year of life often don't present in the typical way we might expect. Instead of a high fever, a classic sign of infection, an elderly person may simply seem more profoundly tired than usual, their energy completely depleted. They might become more confused, their mental state clouding over. Or they might show a noticeable decrease in their interest in eating, their appetite vanishing. In fact, for many seniors in this delicate stage, a sudden and unexplained decline in mental alertness is often the very first warning sign of an underlying infection, sometimes even before other more obvious physical symptoms appear. This is why recognizing these subtle yet significant changes early can make a profound difference in the level of comfort and crucial support they receive in their final stage of life, allowing you to address potential issues before they escalate. For families watching a loved one go through repeated infections, it can be incredibly frustrating and deeply heartbreaking, a constant cycle of worry and concern. It's tempting, in our desire to help, to push for aggressive treatments, desperately hoping that one more round of antibiotics or one more hospital stay will somehow fix the problem and bring them back to health. But at a certain point in this delicate journey, the focus often needs to gently shift from aggressively trying to cure to providing comfort and easing suffering. Making sure they stay adequately hydrated, keeping their fragile skin clean and well moisturized to prevent further complications, and minimizing any unnecessary stress on their already weakened body can often do far more for their overall well-being and quality of life than another round of harsh medication that might only prolong their discomfort and suffering. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're still with us and that this information is resonating with you. And if you haven't yet subscribed to our channel, please take a moment to do so now and click that notification bell so you won't miss any of our future videos, which are designed to provide you with guidance and support during these challenging times. Your support is invaluable and helps us continue creating good, helpful content to inform and inspire you, to empower you with knowledge and compassion. Now, let's move forward to the 5th and final crucial sign. Number 5, major changes in breathing or circulation. One of the most telling and often visually apparent signs that the body is preparing for its final, inevitable stage is a noticeable and sometimes dramatic change in their breathing patterns and their overall circulation. You might sadly notice that your loved one breathes more slowly or more shallowly than they did before, their breaths becoming increasingly faint. At times, they might experience noticeable pauses between breaths, a moment of stillness that can be unsettling to witness. Or their breathing might become irregular, the rhythm disrupted, speeding up unexpectedly and then slowing down just as suddenly, an erratic pattern that can be deeply concerning. Some individuals experience a gentle, rhythmic breathing pattern known as Cheyne-Stokes respiration, where their breathing alternates between periods of deep, rapid breaths and then long, sometimes alarming, pauses, a cycle that repeats itself. These changes can start subtly, almost imperceptibly, but over time, they tend to become more pronounced, more frequent, and more noticeable, a clear indication of the body's slowing functions. Another common and often visible sign is weakened circulation. You may heartbreakingly notice that their hands, their feet, or even their nose and ears start feeling cold to the touch, even if the room is warm. Their skin might appear pale, almost translucent, or even take on a bluish or mottled appearance, especially around their fingers and toes, a stark visual cue of reduced blood flow. This happens because the body, in its final wisdom, is prioritizing blood flow to the vital internal organs, the heart, the lungs, the brain, reducing circulation to the extremities, the arms and legs. It's a clear and often poignant indication that the heart is no longer pumping as strongly and as efficiently as it once did, its power fading. Some people also experience increasing shortness of breath, even with minimal physical exertion. Simply sitting up in bed, speaking a few sentences, or even just shifting their position might cause them to feel winded, breathless, and desperately gasping for air. You might notice them breathing through their mouth more often, a sign that they're struggling to get enough air through their nose. Or they might suddenly need to stop talking mid-sentence to catch their breath, their lungs unable to keep up with even mild activity. If they were once able to walk across a room with ease, but now struggle to take even a few steps without becoming severely winded, their lung function is likely declining significantly. In some cases, fluid can sadly build up in the lungs, further exacerbating their breathing difficulties. This can manifest as a persistent cough, a rattling or gurgling sound with each breath, or even a feeling of tightness or pressure in their chest, making it feel like they can't fully inflate their lungs. Many people might initially assume it's just congestion from a common cold, easily dismissed. But in elderly individuals who are nearing the end of their precious lives, it's often a significant sign that their lungs are weakening and struggling to function properly. This can make lying flat in bed incredibly uncomfortable, and they may increasingly prefer to sleep propped up on multiple pillows or in a recliner chair to help ease their labored breathing. For family members witnessing these changes in breathing and circulation, it can be a truly frightening and distressing experience, a stark reminder of the fragility of life. It's completely natural to want to help, to encourage them to take deeper breaths, to worry that something urgent and terrible is happening. But in many cases, especially in the final days and weeks, this is simply the body's natural, gentle way of slowing down its functions, preparing for its ultimate rest. There may not always be a medical way to reverse these profound changes, but there are absolutely ways to make them more comfortable and to ease their distress. Keeping the room cool and well ventilated, using a humidifier to add moisture to the air, or offering small, frequent sips of water can often help to soothe their discomfort and make breathing a little easier. In some situations, medications or supplemental oxygen therapy might provide some relief, but at this stage, the primary focus gently shifts toward ensuring their comfort and dignity rather than aggressively trying to fix an issue that is a natural part of the dying process. If you notice these significant signs, changes in their breathing patterns, persistently cold hands and feet, or a bluish tint to their skin, please pay close attention with a compassionate heart. These are often clear indicators that the body is conserving its remaining energy and that circulation is slowing down, the life force gently ebbing away. It's a sacred time to simply be present with them, to offer gentle reassurance through your touch and your voice, and to create a peaceful and loving environment where they feel safe, cherished, and utterly at ease in your presence. In these final months or weeks, the most profoundly important thing you can give them isn't always medical intervention. It's the gift of unwavering comfort, the preservation of their dignity, and the deep, comforting knowledge that they are not alone, that they are surrounded by love until their very last breath. Final thoughts: as we gently come to the end of this deeply important video, please take a quiet moment to reflect on everything we've discussed today. Significant weight loss, extreme and persistent fatigue, noticeable cognitive decline or emotional withdrawal, frequent infections and slow wound healing, and major changes in breathing and circulation. These 5 crucial signs often appear in the year leading up to an elderly person's passing. They may not all tragically happen at the same time, and they may not always be immediately obvious or easy to recognize at first. But when you start noticing a pattern, when these signs begin to emerge, it's a significant indication that the body is quietly, gently preparing for its final, inevitable transition. For many families, witnessing these changes in a loved one can be incredibly difficult to accept, a painful reminder of the approaching end. It's completely natural to want to fight against these signs, to desperately encourage a loved one to eat more, to move more, to push through their overwhelming exhaustion, fueled by our love and our fear of loss. But sometimes, the most loving and compassionate thing we can do is to simply listen to what their precious body is telling us, to honor its natural process. Instead of solely focusing on trying to reverse the inevitable, we can shift our focus to making their remaining time on this earth as peaceful, as comfortable, and as profoundly meaningful as humanly possible. Understanding these often subtle signs isn't about fearing death or dwelling on the sadness of loss. It's about being better prepared for it, both practically and emotionally. When you recognize these changes early on, you are empowered to offer better, more informed care, to make important decisions ahead of time with a clearer mind and a more compassionate heart, and to ensure that your loved one's final months are filled with an abundance of love, unwavering dignity, and profound peace. This is a sacred time for fiercely cherishing every fleeting moment, for openly sharing stories and memories, for expressing your deepest love and gratitude, and for letting them know, without a shadow of a doubt, that they are deeply valued, unconditionally loved, and never, ever alone on this final part of their journey. If you are currently noticing these signs in someone you hold dear, please, take a deep breath, allow yourself to feel the emotions that arise, and remember with all your heart that you are absolutely not alone in this deeply human journey. Countless families have walked this very path before you, and while it is never easy, never without pain, knowing what to expect, being armed with this knowledge, can help you find a measure of strength, a wellspring of patience, and a sense of profound peace amidst the storm. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts for joining us here today, for allowing us to share this important information with you. We would absolutely love to hear from you, to connect with you on the shared journey. Please, take a moment to leave a comment down below and share just one thing you learned from this video today and how you plan to use this newfound understanding in your own life, with your own loved ones. Your thoughts and experiences are incredibly important to us, and we encourage you to share them openly and honestly. Reading your comments provides us with great motivation and heartfelt encouragement to continue creating content that we hope will be helpful and supportive for you. If you truly enjoyed this video and found the information helpful and insightful, please take a moment to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and share this video with anyone else you think might benefit from this crucial information. Your support means the world to us and helps us continue creating good, informative, and inspiring content for you and for others who are navigating similar challenging times. Thank you so much for watching, and we sincerely look forward to seeing you in our next video. Valuable lesson: the most valuable lesson we can glean from understanding these signs is the importance of presence over prevention in the final year of a loved one's life. While we naturally want to fight against decline, recognizing these signs allows us to shift our focus from trying to cure to cherishing the remaining moments, providing comfort, and ensuring dignity in their final journey. It's about being fully present, offering love and support, and creating meaningful memories that will last a lifetime,